3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, June 21st, 2018. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having an awesome week. It's been busy for me. I haven't done a video in a couple days, not because the market's going crazy and it's a little down. I'm not scared running, but I'm planning a wedding. I'm getting married in a couple weeks. And it's actually a small wedding, but still incredibly busy doing that and running a business at the same time. It gets tough to do a video every day, but I'm here and I want to do a video and I want to talk about Bitcoin. I want to look at Bitcoin charts, mainly from a long-term perspective. And I want to talk about the mental aspect of it. I want to talk about moving averages, and I want to talk about really where the market is in general. So let's jump in and talk about these things. So first off, I want to point out, since I'm going to be talking about moving averages, you can see on the daily chart a 50 EMA and you see a 200 EMA, which is the orange line. Now, exponential moving average, different than a simple moving average in that it's just a little bit more aggressive. The lines react a little bit more aggressively and quickly than a simple moving average. I prefer the EMA when charting. So what is a moving average in general, and just in case you don't know, really, so the blue line, the 50, is basically the closing price of the previous 50 closes and added up and divided by 50 to kind of give you an average of that time frame. So it really gives a clear picture of the direction of the markets. It also actually, in synergy with different indicators like the RSI, stock RSI, it really helps you see how oversold, overbought we are, and it really helps prepare you for maybe a move in the market. So I prefer 50 and 200 and most often, and you see that in my videos a lot just because I'm long on crypto in general. So I'm not so much trading. So if you're a trader and you're looking, for a shorter time frame, like what should I do right now in a trade? Should I get out? This video might not be for you, but you could apply the same principles to shorter time frames. And so let's talk about what I want to talk about in this video, which is the long-term trend, long-term moving averages of Bitcoin and where we are right now, trading at around $6,700. So I want to start on the weekly. On the weekly, I have a 100 EMA and I have a 50 EMA. The 50 is the blue, the 100 is the orange that you see. Now, I want to point out a couple things. First off, you can see at the end of this bear market that we had, this last bear market that we had, at the end, you can see this pink line I drew is basically a general trend line since we started moving up, since Bitcoin started moving up. It's not a perfect trend line, but it's a pretty clear picture of the trend of Bitcoin. Second, what I want to point out is let's go back to the bear market and let's concentrate right now on the 50 EMA. That's this blue line, the bear market. So it started, we had parabolic moves in 2013. You see it, Bitcoin went crazy, and then we hit a top and we entered that bear market. Now, you can see when Bitcoin went crazy, obviously above the 50 EMA, right? So what it did is it pulled back down to the 50 EMA, and then it bounced a little bit back above and then back down. I know this seems obvious, but I'm getting to a point here. Now, when we really entered the bear market, you can see opposite that instead of support above the 50 EMA, what Bitcoin was doing in this bear market was it was seeing a downward move and it's seeing resistance at the 50 EMA. So it would go down, it would pull back up to the 50 EMA, go down, pull back up, down, back up. So that's first off what I want to talk to you about in this video, which is the moving average lines really help in kind of not predicting what's going to happen next, but anticipating what's going to happen next. Because what cryptos, what stocks do is they have snapbacks to EMAs, not EMAs, moving averages. So what that looks like, and I'm going to do this to paint a picture, I'm going to first get my price range on the daily. So let's get the price range on the daily, and let's look at the beginning of this bear market. that we had starting in 2013. So we had a snapback right down to the 50 EMA, right? And then Bitcoin pulled away, and then it snapped back 25% back to the 50 EMA. Okay. And then what happened is Bitcoin traded below the 50 EMA right here. And we can see how much, 30, and it even wicked down like to 50%. And then it wicked, or not wicked, but it traded all the way back up to the 50 EMA, snapped back up to the 50 EMA. Now, if you just generally glance at the chart, you can see how many times Bitcoin does that. So in the bear market on the 50 EMA, what you see is resistance. So down, snap back to 50, down, snap back above 50, and then a snap back to 50 above, and then finally in this bear market, it's kind of below the 50 line for a while. But you see these consistent snapbacks up to the 50, and there are generally 25 to 50% snapbacks to the moving average. So same thing when we exited the bear market, right? And we started trending back up. Here's that pink trend line I have on the weekly right there. When we started trending back up, same thing happening. Moves away from the 50, snap back. Away, snap back. And you can see it time and time again. Now what happened in this parabolic move that we've had pretty much, especially leading into the end of 2017, you can see it continue happening, these snapbacks to the 50 moving average. And now what has happened, that last parabolic move, we had a huge snapback, a leveling off of the 50, right? So no more parabolic move. And now we've entered below the 50 EMA, which is very reminiscent of the bear market when we entered below the 50 EMA there. So also happening at the same time is we obviously had that 50 EMA cross below the 200 EMA, which is indicative also of a bearish market. So all this to say, right now with where we are in the market, one thing that you can look for is those snapbacks. So, and they continue to happen. You can see this second bottom that we had in Bitcoin, we had a snapback to that 50. So right now I think we're probably around 20% or so under the 50 EMA. So we might have a little bit of a ways to go down. We might test maybe 6,000 before another snapback up to the 50 EMA. But those snapbacks, and I'm tired of saying that word snapback, but I don't know any other word to use right now, are very key to look out for. Now, in terms of the longer market, what I want to point out lastly in this video is there is the pink trend line that I have. And let's actually go to the weekly, will probably be better for this. So here's our high that we had around $20,000 in Bitcoin right there. I don't have my brush out, but right here, there's the 20 high. And we had this huge pullback to the 50 on the weekly. And now we've really kind of tested that as support, but we're really starting to fall below the 50 on the 50 EMA on the weekly. So we might start trading below the 50 EMA on the weekly, just like we did in this bear market. And in that type of scenario, it might look like something like this. There's the 50 EMA that I'm drawing, and we might just start trading and snapping back up to it, trading down, to back down to around this trend line area. It could be $3,000 to $5,000. That is a bearish scenario, but it's very real. But I want you to keep in mind the long-term trend that we do have in play. And this all to say that if you are long, things do not look that bleak. Things are not that bad. You can't have a constant parabolic move in Bitcoin. This is what it does. This is what it has done over the years. It pulls back to these key moving average areas. It consolidates greatly after these huge moves, just like we did before. Consolidates, next move up, consolidates. So the question is, did it consolidate to here? And are we good to go for the next run up, or are we going longer? And it's very possible that we consolidate further down, kind of in that 3,000, 5,000 area until we have another move back up. So we could be at another parabolic move in 2019, 2020 to who knows where, and then a pullback down. So it's a slow growth. So I know I'm talking a lot about moving averages and I'm talking about pullbacks and all this stuff, but it's probably the most important thing in this crypto space right now. If you're watching this video, step outside of the day to day and look long term. It's the same thing with business. Like if you get so wrapped up in the day to day and you forget your long term goal, you're going to get distracted. You're going to get emotional. You're going to get stressed out. So my biggest recommendation is just to really do what is on the screen right now, this very messy screen, which is a zoomed out version of Bitcoin. We have like a market cap under 300 billion crypto as a whole. It is so small. It is so new. And yet we're still trading at around $6,700 Bitcoin. The long-term opportunity here is unbelievable. If we enter a bearish market and we do trade down at this trend line, at $4,000 and we level off there's a huge opportunity for accumulation right now. So please, I just want to encourage you to get your mindset right with the markets right now. If you feel like you are living in that day to day and you're stressed out and you're watching maybe your investments that maybe you bought Bitcoin at $10,000, $15,000 and you're watching that and you've lost 50% and you're stressed. First off, do what you need to do in terms of your investments. I always try and gear everybody to be more conservative. But do what you need to do. But then once you're comfortable with your position, step out and just kind of evaluate the situation and kind of be cool with the situation. Because right now, things are looking fine in my opinion, but I have a long-term outlook, and this is why I zoom out on the charts. I look at moving averages. I kind of see where we are in those moving averages. And it really helps if you want to really even zoom in on the daily. It really does help to buy the dips in these areas, even in a continued downtrend. So if you are a trader, right now isn't a horrible time to play a dip. It might go down a little bit more, but I think we might have a pullback soon before a possible continued move down. So nobody knows at the end of the day. These are just some of my thoughts. Wanted to share with you. I probably could have made this video 50% shorter, but it happens. I didn't plan this. I hope you all are doing well. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'd love to have you as part of the channel. As always, I will see you in the next video, and God bless.